This is a true story about African American soldiers, teenagers in Germany, a strange land thousands of miles away from home. Under very oppressive and racist conditions, they called us everything from niggers to zeros, never amount to anything, but we called ourselves the Square Runners.
We were drawn together because of the circumstances. It was segregated. It wasn't even de facto. It was just outright segregation in the military. But you can always say you didn't have to associate that. That was, de facto segregation. It was our choice. But because of what we had in common, and I think it was because of survival, or connection, we became family. You didn't feel alone.
We had 7 guys. We were called the Beautiful Seven.
Sure to see them.
And when we came in town, 3-piece tailor-made suits, pocket full of money.
From squares.
From running squares and liquor. They knew when we were coming, and they gave us the name the Beautiful Seven.
Gypsy Road.
Strassenbahn.
Chief.
Rail. Ray. Liebersatz.
Blood.
Turnip greens.
First time.
Was him.
Uh-oh.
I follow his lead about
He told me
acquisition.
where to go to drop my
Requisition
stuff
for
off.
the acquisition.
I didn't know. I had Jimbo. That's why they call him Diamond Jim. That's why they call him Diamond Jim.
Okay, this is how I break it down. Square meaning a cigarette carton, a box, a carton, cigarettes. Okay, the dimensions of the box. Okay, so that's a square. That's how I interpret it. Okay, and as far as the square runners, the guys were running squares. Okay, and to break it down, they were selling cigarettes, and you could say, hey, it was black market. It was definitely a source of income for them. It was a needed commodity as far as the Germans were concerned.
There were times that people would want to buy cigarettes and the like, and certainly in terms of transacting businesses, and entrepreneurship, that was probably a way that I could see of surviving as a black soldier.
And y'all would travel from there to where? To Cologne.
Right, to Cologne. There's Bonn and then there's Cologne.
German nationals, particularly the men, some of them had a great deal of difficulty with the amount of fraternizing that we were doing with German women. As Cal said, this particular gentleman got out of jail and found out that his friend, I don't know, wife, maybe who knows what she was to him, significant other, was fraternizing and spending time with one of the brothers, one of the black GIs, and a fight ensued, and we were really kind of outnumbered in terms of the number of German nationals. The band that played regularly in this particular place, the Taboo, was they were from Jamaica. Willie and
Willie and the Downbeats.
Willie and the Downbeats, yeah. And they were playing. They were a very good band, and they actually traveled all over Europe performing at various places. But the Taboo was one of their favorite spots, and they spent a lot of time there. We became friends with them and knew everybody in the band, and all of the band members were all Jamaicans. So anyway, the fight starts. Willie, who's the leader of the group, when the fight starts, he sees what's going on from the bandstand and gets up on a railing and dives into the crowd. I was dancing, and once the fight kind of started, everybody started to swing on opponents, and we basically drove the Germans out of the club. The club was a cellar. It was downstairs.
One way in and one way out.
A cellar, and it was only one way in and one way out. And it was a very long stairway in order to go back up to street level. So we were able to essentially drive most of the Germans out of the club, barricade ourselves in the club with the remaining Germans, and took care of that situation. But we couldn't get out, and we had the doors barricaded so no one would come in, and we were there probably for an hour and a half before the police arrived and escorted us out of the club. So that's kind of how that took place.
It just goes to show you really how difficult it is to be ambassadors of goodwill.
Few people outside of the military that will ever understand exactly what the connection is, what the love can be. It's a family. It is a chain which seldom ever breaks when you get that friendship going. We can do and have done just about everything you can just about think of, which we go from state to state, city to city. Every year we try to change locations for our reunion. We stay in contact. We email, we talk, we visit one another, even during the year, whether or not we're meeting for the reunion or not. If anyone ever is in need of anything, if anyone ever drops out, we've had some members who have passed away, and everybody comes to the aid of the families that are left behind. We do everything we can to assist them in their time of grief, and they know we have their backs. And even though their husbands have passed on, they're still our sisters. We still contact them. We still try to keep up with them. They know they're always welcome to come to the reunions. We often will drop in on some of them, or some of them will maybe come to our city, because we stroll all over the United States. We go from west coast, east coast, north, south, just about anywhere you can go, just about a direction, you'll find at least one of our members. They're totally, I think my list has about 60 people on it. Out of those 60 people, it's basically about 15 that are pretty much steadily active from year to year. Every now and then somebody can't make it this year that might not have been there last year, or may come next year. Someone else may drop out next year. They couldn't make it because of whatever the reason it might be. But even if they are not here, they know they're here in our hearts, in our minds, you know. So we're all good with that.